Hi everybody, this is Jim from Jim's Wholiest Coleus. I want to again reach out to all my subscribers out there and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. I really appreciate everybody. I know I said in the past, really appreciate everybody following along, the great comments. Made lots of friends on YouTube, my regulars that keep in touch. I promise I'll be shooting out a video shortly. We'll be I'm getting my supplies ready. Christmas is right around the corner, and Christmas, of course, means Jim's Wholiest Coleus. It's when I plant my a seasonal crop, my 2020 crop. So this will be about this will be my 8th year total, but really 6 years is since I've really been organized. The first few years have been a learning curve, and I learn each and every day. Each video I make, each correspondence I make, each comment, each video I watch, and each correspondence I watch, I have with all of you, I learn. So thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving, and look forward to making our next video. And I'm really excited for 2020. I'm going to do some really great things. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope I help out those of you at home that subscribe. I hope I help you out. So stay tuned. I'm going to do a real quick video on how the rootings are going and some of my overwintering Coleus. So let's go take a look and see how we're doing. But until then, until Christmas, again, happy Thanksgiving and thank you. All right, let's take a look at these of our rootings here. As I mentioned, I keep a lot of rootings. I don't necessarily need all of these rootings, and need is an interesting word. I usually keep about a dozen rooting cuttings. I have more in my living room. And I would say each year it's a little different, but I would say about I 70% make it to the end of the season. And again, I stress this to everybody who's rooting Coleus plants. Water. Keep changing your water every couple of days. Rinse, gently rinse your root ball. And there's always going to be some debris. Here's a perfect example. Is this a leaf that just died? It just dried out and died, and it wasn't in the water, but you're going to find all sorts of pieces of debris that fall off and end up in the water. You're going to see your water level getting really low, like that. And these guys, as they develop these huge root balls, they get pretty thirsty. So, you're going to fill your water line up to here, and you're going to start developing roots way up here also. So I'm going to, just for an example, if this rooting lasts through the winter, which I expect it will because it's very strong, this is going to go into one of my planters out back. If you looked at one of my older videos, people ask me what I do with my Coleus. Do I plant them now? Sure, if you want to. Like this is a perfect example. This is a Lord Baltimore. If I wanted to right now, I can absolutely plant this into a planter. And I may do that in February or March. Probably February. I may take a few of these and put them into not nursery pots, because they're much larger. These are too big for nursery pots. But I may put them in a larger pot for the season. But primarily, those that make it, those rootings that make it, I will put them into the different planters on my property, and then I also add to them the other Coleus that I germinate over the season. So, but change your water gently with a spray head. If you don't have a spray head, just use your stream of water. Gently rinse your root ball. You can see how healthy that is. There's no slime, there's no debris, no organic matter. It's just water in a root ball. And that's why it's important. And that's why these rootings are are so healthy. They're getting light, and they're being cleaned. They're given clean water regularly, and that's the key. Here's a seed stalk that's developing. And again, it's not doing well because it's not outside. It's not being pollinated by insects, butterfly and so forth. But I have so many seeds. I'm just letting this develop, and I'll cut this soon and just put it in a little tray, dry it out, and see. But I really have enough. I have enough seeds here. So, okay, let's go take a look at the of the 2 overwintered Coleus that I have. And again, as I mentioned in my other video, here's the Saturn, and it's doing great. It really has. It's not molting anymore. I'll find an errant leaf or two fall here and there, but it's doing wonderful. It really is doing great. It's not as, and when I say over the winter how they go dormant, it doesn't have that really bright, rich green, although it may look that way over the video, but it's actually doing much better than I expected. So I'm happy. I'm really taking good care, making sure that it's getting enough water because it's really near the sun and the baseboard heat. So really keep an eye out on your water because these are large plants and all that soil there has lots of roots. So I want to make sure, again, that I get those roots at the bottom some water too. So it's a drained, there's plenty of drainage, so don't worry about it. Just make sure you give them a good drink. Now the black stockings, this is a really complex, large plant. And it lost many, many leaves, and it's still molting a little bit, but it's pretty much stopped. Now what I'm finding here, there's that root, the seed stalk that started developing, and it really kind of stopped. I'm gonna let it go as far as I can because I really don't have many seeds on this. But what I'm finding is a lot of it continues to, a lot of the higher stems are starting to hollow out, and I have to trim. So it is a perfect example. This stem died, and it was very hollow. And how I could tell is I just press it, and I could feel it just collapsed. I'll gently squeeze, and it'll feel hollow. And then for that part, I'll cut it. But you can see I still have some leaves that are dying. It's very hard overwintering a big Coleus like this. You have a much better chance with a little smaller Coleus. This was a really full Coleus. But then again, so was the Saturn. So that's why I mentioned to you that it really depends on the Coleus. Some of them will do really well and some of them won't. But this will make it through. I'm pretty confident that it's going to make it through the season, the winter, although it may be cut down a lot. I may lose a lot of here, some branches here. I may lose this side, but as long as I have still a healthy root structure and most of the plants still alive, it's going to make it through into the spring, and it's going to come right back. So just have faith in your plant, keep them watered. But again, I'm getting a little bit of new growth, but not much. It really slowed down. This is getting some growth in it, but it's very slow, which is fine. Which is fine. Again, I'm not fertilizing. Just keep up your water. And here, I don't know if I videoed. Here's my LED grow light. I got a couple of overwintered. That one's not doing too well. That's that one I potted months ago. That's a black stockings also, but that's a Japanese giant, and I'm just giving that a lot of light. These are great, these LED lights, so very safe, as I had mentioned in previous videos. So, and there's my poinsettia. So just keep track. Look every once in a while. Look through here, and I'll go through this and just trim off any dead leaves. You see any dead leaves, just gently go through it. Look on your soil. Look on the bottom here. I have to actually do that. See if there's any debris. So you can see there's some dead leaves. Get those out of there. Check the soil. Check for any insects. You shouldn't have any insects in the inside. But you can see all this new growth here, which is good. Again, it's slow, but it is growth, and that's a positive. And that's why I know that this plant is going to do wonderful, and this is going to be a great plant next year. So I can make some rootings of these. When they start getting out of hand on the side here, I will cut. I think I took 2 rootings already. But you can root these. So, and back to the actual rootings. So people do ask, you know, what do you do with your rootings? Did you root these to put in pots? And that's really up to you. It's up to what you do. I use these for, at this point, for just decoration, and the long term, whichever ones make it, I really use to for my planters for my property. So okay, so I hope that helped out with the rootings. I know some of my videos may seem redundant, and once the season starts going and I'm outside and we got some plants going, they're gonna, trust me, they will be a lot more exciting. There's gonna be a lot more variations. We're gonna have lots of new Coleus this season. I always look to expand. And again, as I mentioned in some of my other videos, I'm excited at, over the years, how a lot of my Coleus have mutated, how the different changes, each variation may be different than the next. I mean, this is a Saturn, so this will be a Saturn Coleus. When I plant Saturn seeds, I should get Saturn Coleus, but they always a little different with the Kongs, especially the Kongs. They have such variations in colors, and just the design of the leaf. Just there's so many. I mean, it's a Kong, but just the different characteristics of the coloring and of the leaf and so forth. So it's really exciting. I always think of that as I sow each seed. So if those of you are going to be following along for Christmas, if you're not sure on what you need to sow some seeds, now I sow about 600 Coleus each seed by hand. 600, it's a lot. But for you as a homeowner, you may not need that many. Obviously, you don't need that many. You can grow 2 dozen, 3 dozen, how many you want. But I highly recommend, now Coleus seeds will grow in almost anything. You can grow them on moist napkins as long as there's moisture and light. Coleus, remember, Coleus seeds need light and moisture and warmth to germinate. You do not bury your Coleus seeds below the soil. They need light to germinate. So remember that. You can use foam cups or paper cups. We are all trying to get away from the foam. Paper cups with holes for drainage and potting soil. Use potting seed soil mixture. Good quality. I use Miracle Grow seed soil mixture. Over the years, I've switched over exclusively to Jiffy seed pods with the trays, with the domes. You can get them on Amazon or eBay. They're really, I think they make it so easy for me to organize and plant, and they're just so simple. So if you're going to follow along and grow seed and seed your Coleus with me, start looking into getting them. You can buy them again on Amazon. They come in 48 pods or 72 pods. You can buy them separately. You can buy the little pods yourself. So you can buy 25 or 30, because each pod you can grow up to 4. I wouldn't really plant more than 4 Coleus seeds per little pod. So all right, so if you're following along, get yourself some Jiffy seed pods. You got your Coleus seeds. And that's what we're going to need to start growing Coleus together. So stay tuned. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks a lot for following. And this is Jim from Jim's Wholiest Coleus, wishing everybody a great holiday season. Take care, everyone.